about them. The foreman, juror number 1. He's a salesman from Harlem who was born in Ireland. He used to be a waiter, didn't finish college, and likes anything outdoorsy. He's married with no kids. His wife's in school. He gets his news from the New York Times, the Daily Mail, and some Fox News and MSNBC. Never met anybody who watches both Fox and MSNBC, but okay. That guy's your jury foreman. Juror number 2, a nurse from the Upper East Side with a master's degree. She's not married, has no kids, and lives with her fiancé, who works in finance. She gets her news from the New York Times, Google, and CNN. She said 2 things that really stuck out. One, quote, "I don't really have an opinion of Trump," and, quote, "no one is above the law." I'm not so sure about juror number 2. Juror number 3 is a young Asian lawyer from Oregon. His corporate law firm features DEI on its homepage. He's single, lives in Chelsea, and was wearing a purple jacket. Okay? He claims he's not super familiar with Trump's other charges. He likes to hike and run and gets his news from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Google. Juror number 4 is a Puerto Rican who finds Trump fascinating and mysterious. Quote, "He walks into a room and he sets people off one way or the other. I find that really interesting, that this one guy can do all this. Wow." The guy was actually born in Puerto Rico, lives on the Lower East Side now, and works in IT. He's married and he has grandkids. Wife's a writer. Previously served on a jury, but says he doesn't remember the verdict. He gets his news from the New York Daily News, the New York Times, and Google. Anyway, juror number 5, a black woman in her 20s who doesn't follow the news and didn't know Trump was facing charges, anywhere. She lives in Harlem. She's a teacher. She's not married, has no kids, and lives with her brother, who's a basketball coach. She gets her news from Google and TikTok. She also listens to Charlemagne the God. Juror number 6 is a woman in her 20s who works for Disney. She made the courtroom laugh because she wanted to know if the trial would be over before September because she's a bridesmaid in her sister's wedding. She's not married, has no kids, and likes to dance. She lives with 3 roommates and gets her news from the New York Times, Google, Facebook, and of course TikTok, and says she doesn't have strong feelings about Trump one way or the other. Okay. Juror number 7 is a middle-aged, balding white guy with a tan. He lives on the Upper East Side, and you guessed it, another lawyer whose firm is big into DEI and ESG. He's originally from North Carolina, married with 2 kids, and his wife works at a bank. He gets his news from the New York Times, the Journal, the New York Post, the Washington Post, and he listens to NPR. So that's the jury of Trump's peers so far. The fate of a billionaire real estate tycoon, TV celebrity turned 45th president of the United States is in the hands of New York City lawyers, teachers, and Disney workers who like to dance and get their news from the Times, but swear they can be impartial. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Charlie Hurt. Charlie, I think at this point we can say it's not going to be an acquittal. I think the most Trump can hope for was a hung jury with one person holding on.
Look, that's all we're looking for here. The fate of the country, the fate of our entire political system rests on, and I'm going to put basically all of my hopes on the immigrant from Ireland and the Puerto Rican. I think they're our best shots at saving American democracy. And my biggest concern, of course, is that 5 of the 7 read the New York Times, which is deeply alarming. Also concerning is how many of these people call themselves outdoorsy and they like to hike, and they live in Manhattan. They're doing it wrong. That's not where you live if you're outdoorsy and you like to hike.
Yeah.
But I have to say that when you look at all of the people involved in this thing, this raft of people, even the people that are kind of ridiculous, like the software engineer from Walt Disney, and a number of them, I'm very doubtful that they're being honest about it.
Yeah.
But they're better than having the fate in the hands of Alvin Bragg. Yes, I will say that.
That is true. Also concerning is the nurse on the Upper East Side with a master's degree and and the 2 DEI corporate litigators who claim they haven't really been following the case. Okay, let's move on. Joy Reid.
I get it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I get it. You can't swing a dead cat in New York City and not hit a lawyer. But why do you have lawyers on jurors? I would never let a lawyer on any jury of mine, but that's just me.
I mean, that's just you. You're not a jury consultant, although you should be, because you'd probably be better than most of them.